Confederation Weapons Test Facility. KRIEGER Starbase. General Starbase Report. Chief Interest Summary. Unidentified contact. Long-range patrols indicate a high concentration of alien emission system waste products in KRIEGER and Proxima systems. Science Division aboard KRIEGER Station insists that this emission waste has washed ashore from Kilrathi space or may have been trailed in behind ships returning from retrieval operations. Space Force representatives aboard KRIEGER Station are attempting to get Science Division to reconsider its position and put more effort toward gaining insight as to a possible alien population hiding in Confederation space. In other news, several supply convoys have turned up missing en route to KRIEGER. Feeder jumps along the Proxima border have not seen any cross-traffic in over 3 days. Supply management is beginning to anticipate some level of hostile infestation in this area. Science Division has published a notice with regards to this problem in contradiction to the Supply Department's belief. Dr. Victor Crisp states, "We have been given no reason to believe that alien vessels have penetrated this deeply into Confederation space. The likelihood of this is so humorously remote that our experts have a hard time making serious speculation as to the possibilities. We advise that all workers aboard KRIEGER Station refrain from further flights of fantasy regarding these unknown contacts. Our team will make full determination as to the preventative factors at work in Proxima. We can tell you that we believe a strong participant in this matter to be an astronomical adjustment in Proxima's binary star system. The effectiveness, perhaps even the placement, of jump points may be impacted by this phenomenon." Meanwhile, the Aurora Bernal Travel Company has lodged a complaint with the Patrol Escort Division of KRIEGER Operations. They claim that we were negligent in providing fighter escort to 2 commercial transport vessels ferrying colonists from Gonzero Tercera to Outer KRIEGER. Both of the cruise liners were destroyed by unknown hostiles. We would love to be able to respond to this complaint, but the escort group was also destroyed. At this time, our Tactical Advisory Board is trying to piece together how the 6 Excalibur and 4 Thunderbolt escort units could have been neutralized so quickly. The firepower required for this strike is beyond any localized weaponry known to the regional pirate element. Kilrathi raiders are equally under-equipped for this kind of strike. Further investigation will require enhanced Confederation space fighter presence in this area. General Zagawa has provided Confederation headquarters with a request for reinforcements. A response is expected by 2681.66. Signed, Major Charles Farmer, Testing Affairs Liaison.
From Major Terrence Zero Hearn. Subject: crap.
Disclaimer: I'm going to vent like a volcano with a migraine. We have to be at the Cerberus in a day. What the hell is this all about? I thought we saved everybody's butt back there. And what thanks do we get? An hour of planetside leave. No, a handshake, a promotion. Well, you two got a promotion, and a few drinks. I thought we were going to be up on stage with the gang at the Big Sol party. I thought I was going to see my dad. Has anybody even seen the Cerberus? When did we sign up for this lottery? Sorry, I just had a bunch of plans, and this slams them into the dirt.
From Lieutenant Max Maestro Garrett. Subject: reply. Crap.
Zero? Here, let me hold you. There. That feel better now? Man, for a ranking officer you whine like a firekin. Besides, we're gonna be aboard the luxurious new Cerberus. That new ship, well, I really need to read that spec sheet. Just think, more simulated light and hard bunk comfort.
From Lieutenant Lance Casey. Subject: reply. Crap.
I agree with you, Zero. I had to explain to my mom why I'm not going to be there for the reunion. That is not an easy task, nor a pleasant one. If you get us busted for one more contraband, Maestro, I'm going to personally whack that smile off your face. Anyway, I've read the specs on the Cerberus, and she sounds mean. Real mean. That central cannon would have been a welcome addition to the Midway, before we got the big concentrated photon plasma alien blasterizer thing anyway. I've got to catch some Z's. Later.
The invite-only military reception for the T.C.S. Midway was held on 2681.61, with fanfare not seen since VK Day, over a decade ago, on hand for the festivities. The Vesuvius-class carrier T.C.S. McKinley and a full complement of fighters provided a stunning display of piloting skill as they maneuvered and curved around the Jupiter 1 station. The station, specially lit by blue xenon plasma floods developed by Hurston Dynamics and arranged by noted auteur Ron Klapomel, set the dramatic scene, which was perfectly accented by the light show being put on by the fighters' modified weaponry. The docking ceremony lasted 3 hours, with the T.C.S. Midway cresting IO to be greeted by a host of repair, refuel, and transport craft, although the ship was obviously damaged, leaking a trail of particles visible for thousands of kilometers. The scene only reiterated the tremendous battle she had seen a matter of days earlier. There was nothing weak about her entrance. Once the craft was safely stationed in orbit with J1, the crew disembarked with the assistance of the shuttlecraft. Greeted with a hero's welcome, the crew was allowed several hours to settle into the station before the official ceremony. Among the speakers, Admiral Ryak and Governor Cavazos offered inspirational words of praise for the officers and crew of the T.C.S. Midway. Full transcripts of their speeches are available via TCN data node. A hushed crowd listened carefully as they heard the news that Commodore Christopher Blair, the heart of the Tiger, the hero of Kilra, is now missing, presumed dead. As a somber Governor Cavazos delivered this news, the Midway's Air Group Commander Patricia Drake made her way to the podium to give her speech. What follows are excerpts released to the General News Service. For a complete transcript, please note above reference.
Thank you, Governor. I'm not one for speeches. I've given one too many as of late. Briefing after briefing, squad after squad. Each time I laid out our plans to the group and stared at the faces sitting in each of the sparkling leather chairs, the thought went through my head that some of my pilots were as fresh as the ship they served on. The second thought that stayed in my head was how many of those faces I'd never see again. Our victory, as with all military victories, came with a price. That price was paid in the blood of our pilots, Marines, and civilians caught in the crossfire. That price was paid with our innocence and our renewed false belief that we reigned supreme over the galaxy. Fortunately, we have staved off the forces that threatened our freedom, our lives. Unfortunately, we have yet again been taught the terrible lesson that we may never rest, never stop building defenses and offenses, that the universe will never be a safe place. The best we can hope for are times like these, when peace and joy take a minute to steal our focus away from the terrors that threaten us from every unexplored dark corner. This welcome home is much appreciated. However, I wish Commodore Blair, Colonel Jacob Manley, Lieutenant Jack Slayton, and the thousands who have lost their lives could be here to join us for this grand gesture. I don't care what kind of drink you have in your hand right now, but take the time to raise your glass and silently drink to the memories of lost heroes. Thank you, and here's to peace stealing our focus for a longer time.
Following Commander Drake's speech, a rousing round of applause went up through the gallery. The rest of the evening was highlighted by several awards, a brief on the launch of the new CONFED cruiser Cerberus, and entertainment for the tired crew. The Midway should be making its way for the TSY Ecology after 5 days of cursory repairs. As always, look to ISDN to keep you informed of all the latest details. I'm Peter, for ISDN, Sol System Correspondent.
Pilot Orientation Form 63XL1. Primary Specifications. Welcome pilots. Soon you shall make your way to the T.C.S. Cerberus for primary orientation. This brief document has been provided as an overview of the newly commissioned T.C.S. Cerberus. We look forward to serving with you and expect nothing but the best from your collective abilities. Keep in mind the following information is strictly confidential and for your eyes only. All additional information, diagrams, and schematics must be accessed under the supervision of a commanding officer. Once again, I look forward to serving with you.
From Lieutenant Max Maestro Garrett, subject Enoch Merkins.
Our captain's name is Enoch? Where the hell did he grow up, McLean's system? If we have a hoedown anytime soon, I'm gonna laugh until blood starts shooting from my eyes.
From Major Terrence Zero Hearn, subject reply Enoch Merkins.
Yep, I did some checking on him. His record is as bloody and deep as it gets. I still can't find out what the hell his call sign used to be before he switched branches and into the big chair.
Pilot Information Addendum, WASP Interceptor, Brief. The following is a brief description of the new configuration for the WASP Interceptor. It is with great pride and enthusiasm that I disclose this information unto you. I know this information will be treated with the utmost confidentiality. F-110S Modified Black Wasp Fighter Interceptor. The original design for the WASP Interceptor was an anti-bomber craft, focusing on taking out enemy bombers before they were able to inflict severe damage to CONFED capital ships. Though the WASP excelled at its given purpose, when faced with numerous alien fighter cover, the weaknesses of the interceptor was evident. In order to make the WASP more adaptable to different roles in the field, some changes were made to the overall specs. The WASP F-110A had several minor weaknesses that, when put together, equaled one big problem for our pilots. Under the advice supervision of Major Frey, the first thing modified was the ship's defenses. Though the defense of the F-110A were moderate, when combined with the limited maneuverability of the ship, the armor and shields proved to be insufficient. Therefore, the armor on the rear, left and right sides of the ship has been boosted to match the front armor, resulting in precisely 260 centimeters of durasteel on all four sides. On top of that, the ship's shield power has been increased an additional 12.5%. Overall, these improvements were sufficient to increase the ability of the WASP interceptor, showing a performance increase of 25% in test scenarios and combat simulations. With new advances in weapon technology over in CONFED research and development, we were presented with the opportunity to increase not only the defenses, but the offensive punch of the WASP as well. The original F-110A model carried 2 mass drivers, 2 tachyon guns, and 2 charging mass drivers, resulting in a weapons configuration that was only effective at short range. By stripping off all 6 gun hard points, we were able to reconfigure the loadout on the F-110S with some small structural alterations. We constructed 4 of the gun slots into 2 larger slots into which 2 cloudburst cannons were placed. While not increasing the range with the cloudburst, the overall damage potential in close combat matched the original F-110A with only 2 guns rather than 4, creating less drainage and better accuracy. With the 2 remaining gun slots, 2 dust cannons have been added, giving the F-110S increased weapon range and the ability to deliver an offensive punch equaled only by that of the Vampire. With the space left over, 4 more swarmer pods were added, totaling 8, to go with 4 Optimus enhanced long-range image recognition missiles. Now, with the enhanced weapons and defenses of the Black Wasp combined with the return of the booster rocket, the Wasp has the ability to quickly reach combat and equally quickly dispatch all enemy ships, both bomber and fighter alike. In addition to the changes above, the engine configuration has been tweaked, resulting in a slightly higher 10% top speed. Thanks to new technology and the assistance of other CONFED pilots, the WASP Interceptor is now one of the deadliest ships in the Confederation. Sincerely, Major Todd Balls Raffray, Pilot Weapons and Tactics Advisor.
The luxury cruise liner Twilight purchase resumed normal operations today, once again providing service through the border worlds to the ice belts of the Promise system. Although critics have warned that the cruise liner should wait until the military has completed peacekeeping exercises in the sector, the holding company Gwinter and Combine has publicly stated that it sees no reason to delay service now that the alien threat has been eliminated. The Twilight purchase was commissioned on 2679.240 and began service in early 2680. It has room for 5,000 passengers and provides luxury accommodations for its journey. Although it is a civilian vessel, it was constructed to withstand the shock of limited engagement fighting. Captain John Demarest released a statement that outlined the ship's readiness, the course the next few cruises will take, and the crew eagerness to get back on the job.
Truth be told, we're eager to start providing the quality service Ginterin has been known for in its years of service.
The initial run has been sold out for over 6 months, and passengers from almost every sector are heading to meet up with a trip that costs a year's wages for the average Confederation citizen. I'm Rory, IDSN correspondent in the Cygnus system.
T.C.S. Cerberus Captain Report. Well met, folks. I am Captain Enoch Merkins of the T.C.S. Cerberus. The Cerberus is the newest ship in the fleet, and although she doesn't support the number of ships the Midway, she's quick and packs a punch. Now the Cerberus is officially under the jurisdiction of the Terran Confederation Intelligence Service. Because the TCIS own this boat, all of you are now special operatives working with a higher level of clearance than some Confederation commanders have. We will be dealing with the evaluation, containment, and eradication of any possible threats to Terran Confederation security. This makes any outside communication with family, friends, whomever, extremely limited. Once we reach Courage Sector, consider yourself squelched from the outside galaxy. You have been picked, due to your impressive record and unmatched piloting skills, to fill out the Cerberus' small complement of fighters as we hunt for any bug stragglers who might be hiding from us. We don't expect to encounter any significant enemy resistance during the next few weeks. Essentially, we are taking the Cerberus out to put her through her paces. You will encounter some new weapons that have been retrofitted into some variant fighters. These weapons are so new you can smell it, so we don't have a lot in the way of documentation for you. Over the coming weeks, we should be able to make available some of the research documents for these new devices. Basically, you folks are the final stage of field testing. I've been guaranteed that they won't blow you up, so just squeeze the trigger and experiment. Your final input will be vital in the determination of tactical documents prepared for wider release to other pilots who will be using these toys. You may have noticed that my tone is slightly less than the official line you would expect from the captain of a T.C.S. assault cruiser. I prefer to speak with my actions rather than bureaucratic double talk. I prefer that you hear it straight and understand that we are all together in this. Also, all of our correspondences are R2 classified and not intended to leave this ship. So, I expect you to be just as upfront with me about any and all concerns you may have. When we rely upon one another for life and death, protocol should take a backseat to performance. However, do not mistake this informality as an opportunity for self-determination. I am the law here, and I am a hanging judge. If you get out of line, I will smash you back into it. If you cross me, I will crush you. If you fulfill your responsibilities and succeed at all objectives, I will be happy. You want me happy. Trust me, I am not going to go over my record. I am not going to justify any decision I make. I will judge and act, and God help you if you are in my way. With all that said, welcome aboard.
With the return of the TCS Midway and the christening of the new CONFED cruiser the TCS Cerberus, questions have begun to arise about how Confederation R&D has managed to complete vast technological leaps in such a short period of time. The questions have come from sources related to alleged victims of testing mishaps on the latest advancements in weapons, propulsion, and stealth technologies. The latest voice of concern is from one Sam Langtree, husband of Captain Vera Langtree, who was killed while testing new weapon modifications at the KRIEGER science facility. Mr. Langtree is a research chemist for Paulson Kinetics and has been involved in past military development contracts. After the death of his wife, he began to investigate internally the protocols and actual testing conditions pilots are subjected to. Mr. Langtree points the finger at what he perceives as cramped deadlines, shoddy procedural management, and a lack of respect for the lives of the pilots. At a press conference on his homeworld located within the faith system, Langtree, with the guidance of his counsel, made the following statement.
It is my stated belief that my wife, Captain Vera Langtree, was killed due to the gross negligence and incompetence of the managing body of the KRIEGER research station. Several correspondences have come into my possession that indicate that all necessary steps to ensure the safety of the test pilot and the viability of the test system were not followed. It has also come to my attention that standard procedures have been cast to the side in favor of faster results. How long must we tolerate the Confederation using pilots as guinea pigs in their quest for the ultimate weapon? How many more brave men and women must die needlessly before we begin to question how our technology is developed? I am calling for a public investigation of the KRIEGER facility's actions in this matter and a review of all testing procedures throughout the Confederation. As a scientist, as a husband, as a decent human being, I feel it is my duty and in the interest of all citizens of the Confederation to demand answers. Members of the attending press questioned Mr. Langtry's motivations for his stand, and if he was allowing his grief to threaten the security of the Confederation R&D program by turning whistleblower. Some people will call me a whistleblower, that's fine by me. All I know is my wife died needlessly at the hands of a program bloated on the non-stop conflict which has fed its budgets and fattened the aging bureaucrats who are ultimately damaging the true effectiveness and efficiency of any future development.
When questioned, Major Charles Farmer, the testing affairs liaison, had no comment. ISDN will bring you more news on the developing investigation when and if it occurs. This is Hazel, ISDN correspondent in the KRIEGER system.
T.C.S. Cerberus, Personal Log, First Lieutenant Lance Casey. This is my first log aboard the Cerberus. She's a nice enough ship. No midway, but a nice ship. The big gun on the bottom and the speed from those engines make her one formidable craft in a fight. No matter the strength and power, or whatever Gene said, I still think Cerberus is a stupid name. Weren't we shooting down Cap missiles named the same thing? I guess you can't predict what TC officials are going to pull from. The captain is a piece of work. I haven't seen that many scars on one guy since Decker and his men were around. He's down to business, and I like that. He's the type of guy who just knows how to state the obvious well enough to make you cringe. I hope this is just a babysitting gig, as the captain stated in his report to us. I'm tired of all the fighting. I just want to take a break. Courage sector is supposed to be clean, but reports of small contingents of insect fighters have been spotted just around everywhere, so you never know. We're supposed to be getting some variant fighters armed with the latest loadouts. I've heard some talk about the dust cannons, cloudbursts, chain ions, and mosquito RPs, but I just didn't think that they had gotten out of the test phase yet. Hope one of those doesn't backfire and make my mom bury another dead man in her life. Well, Dad, I hope you can hear my thoughts as I type this. I'll be thinking of you, Hawk, Blair, and Dallas, and praying I don't have to add any more names to that list.